The book about Moomin, Mymble, and Little My. A story from Finland by Tova Jansson. Here's little Moomin troll, none other, hurrying home with milk for mother. Quick, Moomin troll, it's nearly night. Run home while there's a bit of light. Don't hang around in woods like these. Strange creatures lurk between the trees. The wind begins to howl and hiss. Now guess what happens after this. Beyond the forest, bathed in light, the air tastes fresh, the grass glows bright. The sun shines down on fields of flowers. Moomin trolls walked for hours and hours. But, happy to be homeward bound, he kicks his legs and leaps around. He sees a tall shape, a house, his own? How very tall the chimney's grown. When yesterday the roof was flat, well, guess what happened after that? That's not a roof or chimney pot. It's Mymble's hair tied in a knot. She's weeping on a big tin can. Poor thing, thought Moomin Troll, and ran to Mymble, begging, please don't cry. I've lost my sister, Little My. She told him and began to yelp. She ran away. Oh, Moomin, help! Moomin Troll frowned. Well, let's begin by checking if she's in this tin. Some villain might have stashed her in it. Now guess what happens in a minute. They crawl out on the other side, next to a river deep and wide, where Gapsy, with her gruesome hair, gives them a mean and chilling stare, and growls, you fools, I'll make you wish you'd stay at home. Now let me fish. Mymble says, quick, let's go, she'll bite. And Moomin Troll says, yes, quite right. Perhaps your sister's in this cave. They tiptoe in, they must be brave, and find poor Little My somehow. Well, guess what happens to them now? Among the boulders piled up high, there is no sign of Little My. They searched and searched, but find no trace. The bitter wind whips Mymble's face. Moomin Troll feels extremely glum. He wants his home, his bed, his mum. Where is the warm and sunny day? Then guess what happens right away. Hemulin, with a vacuum hose, had got some house dust up his nose. Spring cleaning, though it wasn't spring, was Hemulin's most favorite thing. Disaster struck his greedy Hoover, sucking hard enough to move a mountain, swallowed both our friends into its tube around the bends. Both Moomin Troll and Mymble flew. Moomin Troll's milk was sucked up too. He shouted through the gungeon fluff, oh, mother, help! I've had enough. A stroke of luck, who should walk by but Mymble's sister, Little My. While taking a relaxing stroll, she heard the cries of Moomin Troll. She cut the tube and pulled it back. Mymble and Moomin Troll were black with dust from head to toe. My laughed. Blimey, the two of you look daft. We've saved you, My, cheered Mymble. Phew! Hemulin, see things through and through, chased them away like dust and mess. And guess what happened? Go on, guess. They landed, it was quite amusing, where a filly jonk was snoozing. Oh, look, said My, what's this red mat? It's Filly Jonk, you've squashed her flat, cried Mymble. Look, she's in a rage. Filly Jonk howled and split this page. I think the Filly Jonk escaped. Here, through this Filly Jonkly shaped hole, Mymble said. This was her route. So they set off in hot pursuit, to where a new adventure beckoned. Now guess what happened in a second. The hunt is not a huge success. They find the Filly Jonk's red dress. But as for Filly Jonk the creature, sad to say she doesn't feature. Golly, now she'll have to buy a brand new dress, says Little My. A storm flares up, the lightning flashes. On the beach a wild wave crashes. It simply shouldn't be so scary, bringing milk back from the dairy. My mother needs this milk tonight, says Moomin Troll. Oh look, a light! A sign of life, a friend, a guide? Now guess what happens? You decide. What an odd sight! What can it be? Some hattie fatteners, sipping tea. Hundreds of the electric chaps, who smell of burned-out thunderclaps. Let's go, said Mai, we'd better dash, before they turn us into ash. Fattering hats, huffed Mymble, quick! Now guess what happens in a tick. Millions of sopping raindrops fall. They get a soaking, one and all. Except for little Mai, quite jolly, underneath her lovely brolly. The ground, already rather wet, from Mymble's tears gets wetter yet. Moomin Troll cries, we need dry land. Wait, here's someone to lend a hand. On the horizon, two big ears, and in between the sun appears. Our friends will soon be found, not lost. Now guess what happens? Fingers crossed. Welcome home, Moomin, safe and sound. And welcome, friends, come, gather round. What a relief it is to tell a tale that ends supremely well. Where lovely Moomin Mama sat, collecting berries in a hat. Time for a feast, said Mama, drink. Scrumptious delights all round, I think. A shell, a rose, a fresh baked bun? Oh, I'm so glad to see my son. And gorgeous milk, there's milk galore. Now guess what happens just once more. Yuck! All the milk's turned sour and cheesy. Mama says, never mind, it's easy. Now we've all got a great excuse for drinking sweet pink berry juice. This hole, the very last you see, they can't get through, it's much too wee. We'll stay here in this book, and why? 'Cause we're too big, said little Mai.